All right, I have 8 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and begin to respect your time and everyone in this Zoom meeting. I'm Coach Allison, head baseball coach, Blue Valley West High School. We do have some new family members and new players, so I just wanted to make sure that we're all aware of who's leading this meeting. So tonight we're going to talk about the tryout price process. If you have any questions, what we'll have you do is we'll have you email those to me directly at the end of the meeting. If you have any contacts that you want me to add to the distribution list, we can also have you email that to me as well. That way, I have a digital copy so that I can get those added. Um, as we go through, if you have to leave early, you're attending late. This is a recording, so I will crop the recording and send it out tomorrow, along with the documents that you see in this move in the Zoom. Excuse me. Go ahead and do this here. Okay. So with that being said, agenda introductions taken care of. We'll talk about player needs, the tryout schedule, the evaluation process, and then we'll give you some contact information. First and foremost, number one question I would have as a parent and a player is basically what do the dynamics of the team look like? The teams look like, and this is an estimate based off our last 5 years that I've been involved with the program. Typically, we for the varsity level we keep 15 to 18 players. They're the best players in the program, 9 through 12. Grade level does not matter. Um, we can keep more than that if we need to. We can obviously keep less, but on average, we've kept between 15 to 18. At the JV level, same thing, 15 to 18 players. They're the best juniors, sophomores, and freshmen that are not playing varsity. Those are our players that we're looking to play varsity within the next 2 years, and or are some of our most important backups. Please note that we do not play seniors on JV. So uh, if that ever changes, I'll let you know. But as of right now, we have not done that, nor do we plan to. At the C team level, we take our best freshmen and sophomore players that are not on the JV or varsity. We keep somewhere between 15 to 18, or at least we have in the past. D team is made up of all freshmen that are not on the varsity, JV, and C team. So to summarize that, the D team is all freshmen. The C team is a combination of freshmen and sophomores. The JV is a combination of juniors, sophomores, and freshmen that are next in line to play varsity. And then our varsity team is made up between 15 to 18 players on average over the last 5 years, and they can be freshmen all the way up to seniors. Okay, player needs. What your player needs to try out for Blue Valley West baseball. They have to have a completed paperwork packet, which is done online. The link is at Blue Valley West or bvwestjags.com. Um, there's a link on there. It takes you to the district webpage. You click on Blue Valley West, and then it takes you into that packet. The first time you do it, freshman parents and those of you that have not done one yet, it's a little bit of a pain because you have to scan your physical into the database, and then you have to fill out all the forms online. Those of you that have done it before, you get used to it, and it's actually a pretty fast process, pretty easy process, and pretty convenient process. As you can imagine, for our district and for our school, it makes it a lot easier to track all the paperwork. So at the end of the day, it's a more efficient process. The number one thing is the players have to have their physical. If you have not scheduled that physical, I would do so immediately. Players that miss tryout days because they have not gotten their physical done, I'll be honest, it's tough for me to have any type of remorse for that because it is a spring sport and they've had all year to get that physical scheduled. Um, so get those scheduled as soon as possible. Get in there. They cannot participate in any physical activity or physical sport at Blue Valley West unless they have that physical on file. The rest of the paperwork we can continue to build and get that turned in throughout the process, but they have to have their physical. If you have questions about that, um, please email me or text or call me. But please understand, I'm just going to direct you to Lindsay Lafferty, which is the athletic director secretary, because she's the expert on the matter. Um, Baseball attire and gear. Players need to have baseball pants, preferably wider gray. Cleats. This year with the cleats, we need to understand that we will be on the turf when we are outside the new turf, the synthetic turf. So they'll need to have molded cleats or turf shoes, no metal spikes at all when we're on any of the Blue Valley synthetic turf fields. If and when they're on the dirt slash grass fields, they can wear metal or molded cleats. But when we're on the turf, the synthetic turf, they've got to have molded cleats or turf shoes. Always have tennis shoes in case we have to go inside. They need to have a pair of sleeves, compression sleeves, or some type of hoodie or small jacket, um, especially for those morning practices where we'll be outside and it's going to be chilly out. A black Blue Valley West baseball T-shirt or a plain black shirt, um, a hat, a pair of socks, baseball socks preferably, belt, protective cup, and then all their baseball gear. So, for example, catchers need to have their gear. Position players need to have their glove, batting gloves, bats, etc. So, if you have any questions or you need me to get more specific with that, please email me and I will follow up on that. If your player does want a Blue Valley West baseball T-shirt, I do have extras. We have old ones that we can sell them for $5 a piece, or a plain black T-shirt's fine. Players that have had shirts in the past, obviously, those are okay. Um, Transportation to and from practice. Indoor practices will be in the auxiliary gym and main gym. With the new synthetic turf, we don't plan to be inside much, but if it does get chilly or it's raining to the point where we can't be outside, then we will go inside. Door number 9, which is over by the weight room and the gym entrances, is the door that we'll always use to enter and exit the building. It will always be open 15 to 20 minutes before the practice that's scheduled for that day is set to begin. So typically it's 30 minutes, but 15 to 20 minutes just in case of a school day or teachers. As teachers, we have obligations. So outdoor practices, outdoor practices, we obviously didn't update this. We will be using the turf, the synthetic turf, for the entire tryout process. I'll talk to you about the actual time schedule here in just a second. But we'll be using that synthetic turf. So parents that are picking up and dropping off, you will now use the south entrance to the campus, and you will pick up and drop off your players right by the stadium entrance. There's a gate that goes into where we play our varsity softball and varsity baseball games. It's called AntDAC, Antioch District Athletic, Activities Complex. There's a walkway right up there. So that's where you'll pick them up and drop them off. I wouldn't pull right up to the walkway. I would park right across in the parking lot area right there. And that way you understand that you're not using the north entrance, using the south entrance now to pick up and drop off. We will not be using the um, grass and dirt fields 3 and 4 for tryouts. We'll talk about after tryouts a little bit later, but as of right now, for all tryouts, we will be using the turf, brand new synthetic turf field over at the district complex field at Blue Valley West. Locker rooms. For the locker rooms, the varsity locker room is what it's called, the athletic locker room. The players will all be allowed to check out a locker. They do that on their own. They do need to bring their own lock. That locker room will be open before and after school. With us practicing outside, they're going to need to hustle down there, use their locker, and then head over. A lot of our older players just keep their stuff in their cars. But to each their own. Do know that your player does have access to a locker and the locker room. It is only open before and after school, though. It's not open during the day. If they have questions about that, they can see me as well. Okay, spring tryouts. All the players will be evaluated on their character, um, to include leadership, effort, attitude, discipline, and academics. We can get in deeper with these top 4 things, um, but I just want to make sure that you understand that the expectations at Blue Valley West and in our program are a little bit higher, or a little bit um, different than some other programs. Number one, obviously, is academics down there at the bottom. That's the main school expectation, but we do hold our players to a higher standard, especially when it comes to leadership. And then if you notice effort, attitude, and discipline, those 3 things take zero athleticism. They're all 3 things that can be controlled completely by every single one of the athletes in our building. And we hold our players to high standards to achieve those 3 things on a daily basis with everything that we do. So um, moving forward with the academic part, um, I've checked with all our seniors that plan to try out. They have to be enrolled in at least 5 classes for, in the spring semester. So as of right now, they're all good. They have to stay enrolled in those classes the entire spring semester. They can't drop a course or they become ineligible. Um, all of our students must have passed at least 5 classes in the fall semester, which is Acacia standard. And what that means is they had to receive at least a D in 5 or more classes, which all of our students have done so far that I've checked out. If they did not, and something comes up that they didn't, then they will be ineligible to participate. So you have to have passed 5 classes in the fall semester, and you have to be actively enrolled and passing 5 classes during the spring semester. Obviously, if we have some students that are participating that are homeschooled and doing some other type of programs, the standards are just a little bit different. But we've obviously spoke and we're taking care of that. They have to remain in good standing, as I mentioned, and then they have to um, participate at a high level and maintain good behavior in their classes. Your players will be taken around a behavior/grade card Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday during tryouts. They'll turn those into Coach Ashen, and we'll go through and we'll check through those to see how your students are doing in their classes during the week of tryouts. We'll talk more about the continuance of that after tryouts are over. And then all of our players have to go out of their way to represent the Blue Valley West baseball program in a positive and a productive manner. I know most of you have very high expectations for your child, and we'll continue to do the same, and we'll hold them to those high expectations as well. Okay, diving into the calendar. Tryouts start on Monday, February 26th. Okay, and I'll go over the details for each individual day here in just a second, but I wanted to give you the scope of the entire week. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we will have physical active tryouts during those 4 days. Rain or shine, inside, outside, we will get work done on all 4 of those days, and your player will be evaluated on all 4 of those days at some level. On Friday, we will have our evaluation meetings. Each player will come in, they'll sit down with the entire coaching staff. We will hand them their eval sheet, and we will let them know whether or not they made the team or they did not make the team. We will not go over the eval in an extensive matter at that point, whether they made the team or they did not make the team. If they want a more extensive summation of their evaluation, we'll schedule another time to meet with the player. And then once we've met with the player, if they're still wanting to extend that meeting, then we can sit down with the player and the parent at that time. And then if that evaluation or meeting does not suffice, then we can move on and meet with the parent, player, and administration. Please do note that our coaching staff will not meet with any parents and or administration without the player in the meeting. It's just part of the process, part of the maturation process for the player and their understanding of what's going on. Just for your peace of mind, Saturday for players that do make the team, we get started right away with our inter-squad scrimmages from 9 to 12 on Saturday. Okay, in detail. Spring tryouts, Monday, February 26th. Our first practice is in the morning for juniors and seniors only. Okay, they'll show up at 6 o'clock on the turf field, the synthetic turf field at the complex, and we will have our first practice with juniors and seniors only. Okay, and then in the afternoon, the freshmen will practice from 3 to 5 on the synthetic turf field at AntDAC, and then the sophomores, juniors, and seniors will practice from 5 to 7:30. Tuesday, the freshmen will practice in the morning from 7 to 8:10 at the complex field, and then they will practice after school from 3 to 5, and then the sophomores, juniors, and seniors will practice from 5 to 7:30. Please note that the late start day there on Tuesday, that's why we're starting just a little bit later, because it is a late start day. If the school changes some type of time schedule due to the snow days or winter days that we've had, I will let you know and we'll adjust that schedule accordingly. If for some reason we are forced inside that first week, we have to go late because basketball is still in session and they have access to the gyms before we do. So if you notice the times, freshmen will go 6 to 7, sophomores will go 7 to 8, and then juniors and seniors will go 8 to 9. So we have to make the best of the situation if we are forced inside. Wednesday and Thursday in the morning. On Wednesday, the sophomores will go from 6 to 7:15 in the morning at the complex field. And then in the afternoon schedule is the same, freshmen from 3 to 5, sophomores, juniors, seniors from 5 to 7:30. Thursday mimics that schedule as well. The juniors and seniors will go once again. So we get one more look at the upperclassmen, one extra time in the morning from 7 to 8:10. And then we finish it tryouts off, the physical part of them, from 3 to 5 with the freshmen in the afternoon, and then 5 to 7:30 with the upperclassmen. The inside schedule stays the same as you see there at the bottom. So the schedule is the same every single day with the exception of the morning practice. We are rotating each class, and they will come in and they're basically getting an extra hour of on-field BP so that we can evaluate their live BP sessions in the morning. If you have any issues with transportation, especially for those morning practices, just shoot me an email. We will work with players in their different scenarios and situations. Friday's schedule. Right after school, the freshmen will meet in the PE locker room. We will call them in alphabetically by last name, one at a time. They will go through the PE office, which is my office. They'll come in and sit in the coach's office. All 5 of our coaches will be there. We'll sit them down. We'll hand them their eval sheet, and then they will exit through the athletic locker room, and they are free to go at that point, whether they made the team or did not make the team. That way they don't have to leave and be around anybody else, good or bad. They can exit the building. Please note, we will not meet with anybody that day, parents, players, etc. Everybody needs their time to let the information, good or bad, settle in. Also note that players that do make the team will not find out what team they're on at that particular time. They'll find that information out a week later. Sophomores will come in at 3:30, juniors 4:15, and then we'll finish with the seniors at 4:45. Okay, the evaluation sheet. I'm going to stop share here now. Excuse me. Okay, Coach Ashton, can you see the evaluation sheet? Yep. Okay. If you take a look at the evaluation sheet here, it okay. At the top, it says a baseball evaluation sheet, 2024 tryouts. We'll have the player's name, their class, the year in which they are, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. The scale in which we evaluate the certain skills: 0 is for beginner, 1 is for needs improvement, 2 is average, 3 is good, and 4 is advanced. If you go through hitting, those are the criterion that for each of those that we'll be grading each player on. We will include notes for each player. There'll be hitting evals every single day of the week. On top of that, they get their extra BP session in the morning where we get some more individualized time to see them in extensive. Our cage area is phenomenal. We have plenty of space. The machines that we use, they'll do live and machine evals. We are a program that spend a lot of time bunting the baseball and using small balls, so we'll be evaluating that part of it as well. And then we take pride in our 2-strike approach, so that'll be a big aspect of how they're evaluated as well. As far as speed goes, they'll be timed in the 60. They'll have two attempts to do that. They're home to first time, and then their split times from first to second as far as their break and them stealing second. So they'll have 2 attempts of those, and we'll get those times there. Catchers will be evaluated on the following. Infielders will be evaluated on the following. Outfielders will be evaluated on the following. Pitchers the same. And then, as we mentioned before, leadership, effort, attitude, discipline, and then academics. Those deals are there. Basically, that's just a plus or minus. So we'll add those in there, and then the player will find out at the evaluation meeting whether or not they made the team or did not make the team. If they want to set up another meeting at that time, I will let them know their opportunities to do so the following week, starting on Monday, and then we'll go from there. The evaluation sheet is simple. It does give quite a bit of data, and it's worked for us. So is it perfect? No. We make changes every year. We'll continue to evolve it, but we really take pride in the effort that we put in for those 4 days, trying to find the best players out of what has been and continues to be one of the better programs in the Midwest. So we'll continue to do our best to make sure that we're treating everybody fairly the same and getting this process done. Okay, back to the PowerPoint. Coach Ashton, can you see what do we evaluate? Coach Harrison, do you see the PowerPoint? Nope. Let me try again. Up there now. Okay, good. Most of this already covered, but I just want to make sure you have your own slide for it. There's the speed eval. There's the hitting eval specifically. They're guaranteed at least two live rounds. One coach pitched, one machine pitched. Those morning sessions, they'll get the coach pitched. If they don't, they'll get them in the afternoon. They'll get several opportunities to get the machine pitch evals, which basically eliminates variable, just in case they're not a fan of the coach that's pitching, et cetera. We still get the other one. We will film some of it so that we can go back and look at some of the player swings that we need some more extensive time to eval. Lots of cage time in the cages. We'll take care of their live bunts off the machine, their two-strike approach, and then how they work off the tees and the fundamentals that they have. Outfielders evals will be simple but effective. They'll have 8 balls hit to them, 2 right at them, 1 to the left, 1 to the right, 2 they'll have to go get, 2 they'll have to come get, and then we'll measure their ability to throw to and through a cut. And then during the live sessions of our tryouts, we'll evaluate their situational defense, their ability to be where they're supposed to be, know what they're supposed to do, and how well they play in live situations. Infielders, excluding first baseman, they'll have 8 balls hit to them, 2 right at them, 2 to the left, 2 to the right, 2 slow rollers. Their double play feeds and turns, their situational defense during our live routines, as well as their knowledge of the game and knowing what they're supposed to do. And they'll get extensive amounts in this, especially on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. So it's not just a one-day thing. So we'll get to look at them quite a few times, repeating this same set of fundamentals. First baseman, unique positions, so they have a little bit different. They'll have 8 balls hit to them, 2 at them, 2 to the left, 2 to the right. We'll evaluate their 3-6-3 double plays, their receiving and digs abilities, and then their situational defense as well, knowing what they're supposed to do and working their way through the live situations. Catchers will be evaluated on their stance, their sign stance, primary stance, secondary stance, their ability to receive, blocking, their pop times to third, second, and first. We'll evaluate their transition, their footwork, and then we'll definitely evaluate their situational defense during the live routines that we do. And then more so than any of the other players in the program, they're going to be evaluated on their leadership and their practice control. We lean on our catchers quite a bit in our program to not only execute their position, but they need to be able to be the coach on the field and lead the team in the process. Pitchers will be evaluated on a minimum of 3 sets. Most of them will get 4. Those will be sprinkled over Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. That'll be in the pen. They'll throw, our sets are 7 pitches. As you can see there, a normal set is 2 fastballs, 3 changeups, 2 fastballs. They'll repeat that set, and then they'll do a changeup. Excuse me, not. They'll do 2 fastballs, 3 breaking balls, and 2 fastballs. They'll repeat that set, and then they'll do 2 fastballs, 3 changeups, 2 fastballs. Most likely they'll throw that one a second time as well. We'll also evaluate them on their fielding fundamentals on Wednesday. We'll take them through a PFP rotation. We'll also evaluate them on their split times, how they hold runners, their pick moves, and their ability to back up bases, field their position, etc. So there's more to it than them just throwing 90 off the bump. They got to be able to field their position, throw strikes, and understand their position. I mentioned the eval meetings. One thing that I did not mention, please understand that we will have some winter sport athletes that will not be able to participate in that first week of tryouts due to their winter sport obligations. Once their winter sport is over, they'll be given 4 days to try out, just like the rest of the team. And we will give them their eval the same process. So their schedule will just be a little different due to the fact that their winter sport may extend through our tryout season. Players that do not make the team, there are some options that they have. One, they can transition over to track and field. I will talk to Coach Davidson. I will let him know if they choose to play or run track, however you say that, to participate in track, and then we'll get that set up for them if they choose to. They cannot do golf. Golf's tryout sessions will be over. If it's a special circumstance, I could talk to Coach Anderson, but please note that usually that doesn't work. 3 and 2 does offer a spring league. There's also a league this year that's being run through the RAD Royals system. If that's something that the player that does not make it would like to explore, then I can set them up with that as well. And then, of course, there's always the club and academy routes for the clubs and academies that have options for their players during the spring. My contact information. Please make note that whenever there is a change in practice, I will notify the players. I will send out an email to parents. We used to update Twitter, but it's or X, whatever you call it now, but not everybody uses that. So I will email you directly through the email database, and we will notify the players directly. We are also going to start using Game Changer Messenger as well. That'll be a third avenue where we start messaging via Game Changer. That will be the varsity account specifically. So I will send that link out the week before tryout starts so that everybody has that varsity account so that you can get that message via Game Changer as well. So you'll have a personal email, you'll have your player contacted, and there'll be a message sent via Game Changer so that you have the information if there's any changes. There is our Twitter/X account. Facebook's there, but that's only for parents that take pictures and post stuff on there. I don't usually post much on the Facebook page. The school website address is bvwestjags.com. That's the one that the school runs. All I do with that site is I basically put our website address on there, which is bluevalleywestbaseball.com. So there's a link on there for that. So if you have any individual questions, comments, concerns, email me. If you have any contacts that you'd like to add, please email me. We are really, really looking forward to this year in tryouts. The 2 pitching sessions, preseason pitching sessions we've had so far have gone great. We are working our way through that process. Obviously, it's new for every school in the state of Kansas. This Friday, we adjusted the schedule, so we will be at the high school. I emailed out that time and I sent the time to the players. So we'll do our best to work around gym availability and work around our resources as we get better with that. Freshmen will start that program next week, and I'll send out details in the weekly email on Sundays. So if you ever notice any errors or have any questions about the weekly email that I'll send out on Sunday nights, please don't hesitate to email me. I misspell stuff all the time. I put the wrong date. I constantly mistake putting the month of May in place of the month of March. So and my wife always calls me out on that one. So just please make sure that we're communicating, and I will always want to make sure that you have all the information and that you know exactly what's going on. So I really appreciate your time. I will send out a recording of this tomorrow along with these documents, and I'm looking forward to a real competitive, fun, exciting 2024 season. Thank you and have a good night.